Hello and welcome to another Alpha Clash video here at Hobbies and Happiness. My name's Dan.
And I'm Jim. Today we're going over the white cards in Alpha Clash first set. And it's a tier list.
It works. It works.
It works.
All right, yeah, so this is the last color. The last color that we're going to talk about is...
White's a shade.
He's not wrong. Sure, it's the last shade of the color of the cards in Alpha Clash that we're going to talk about. So if you haven't yet, go check out all our other all our other videos going over all the other colors or shades. Are those other ones shades, Jim?
Black is.
You know, yes. And everything, sure. All those other shades / colors, you can go find those other videos here. But before we get into it, don't forget, if you want to see more Alpha Clash content from Hobbies and Happiness, don't forget, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell icon so you can be notified when we release more Alpha Clash content. Because, guys, I'll tell you, there's more Alpha Clash content coming from us, and we are excited. We're excited about it. It's been an Alpha Clash week, and it's going to be, there's more Alpha Clash stuff coming from us. So don't you worry. And if you want to see it, don't forget, like, sub, and hit that bell icon so you can be notified. So before we get into it, again, ground rules. We're going over all of the white cards in the set. We're not talking about the contender. We've already discussed clarity at length in other videos. We did, in one video, we talked all about the contender, so you can find that here as well. We went over a little spotlight video for each contender. So if you want to know some of the lore and the backstory of the character, you can go check that out as well. And then, so now when it comes to rating these cards, we have a 5-tier rating system. Highest is S, lowest is D. The highest being S. Jim, what does S mean?
Super.
B. The next is A. What does A mean?
Awesome.
B means?
Bad. No, all right. It's just solid card.
Solid. What does C mean?
Situational.
And what does D mean?
Dog dookie.
There we go. So that's our rating system, and so we're going to talk about the card, and then at the end of it, we're going to each come to a conclusion. We're going to agree on a letter for it. It could be plus, minus, or right in the middle. We have to come to an agreement. So with that being said, let's get into it. We're starting with the Clash cards. All right, and the first Clash card we're going to talk about is Haven, the Resourceful Helper. So we've already seen this character in blue, but now she's appearing in white as she is a friend of Clarity. Yeah. So it's Haven the Resourceful Helper. She's a 1 cost, 1 required, 1/2 Haven Earth Clash card in the Rogue affiliation. She is an uncommon card with the ability Trigger Enter. You may draw 1 card. Jim, what do you think about Haven the Resourceful Helper?
Card's broken, Dan. You know, if I could fill my entire deck up with a card like this, I would do it.
I mean,
sure, I'm going to lose, but I would do it.
Yep.
And yeah, I absolutely just love this card. ETB, draw you the card, instantly replaces itself. If you get any damage in with it, great. But just there for a chump blocker as well. Beautiful card.
I agree. I mean, there's nothing I don't like about this card. I mean, even the fact that she's a rogue affiliation, not that big a deal because she doesn't get that buff to Magnate. Not a big deal. But she's a 1/2. She's not a 1/1. Moxie's a 1/1. So Moxie was that 1/1 that drew you a card in black. Haven is a 1/2 for 1 that draws you a card. I mean, I love this card. I love this card. What are you rating this card, Jim?
You know, Dan, honestly, I'm kind of aiming for S tier. I ain't going to lie to you. No, I'm going to say solid A. I'm thinking like, I could also see an A+.
I could see an A+ too. Yeah. I could very much see an A+. Especially you're already getting that extra toughness.
Yeah.
This can sit around. This has potential to just sit around. Yeah, I think A+. I think A+ is the correct rating for Haven. All right, next one is Shadowlight. So Shadowlight is a 1 cost, 1 required, 1/1 Shadowlight Earth Clash card, Alpha affiliation, common rarity card. And it says on the card, this card cannot be obstructed by Alpha Clash cards. Jim, well, what do you think of a card like Shadowlight?
Now, I like this in terms of for Magic, because then it makes it to where you just can't attack this card with an Alpha. Or, sorry, you can just attack this card with an Alpha on the following turn.
Yes,
and
correct.
Kind of like nothing happens.
Yes.
And he's a small body. He's just going to die to pretty much everything.
Yes.
But I like that ability. And if you have a way to buff him in the late game, then you could really change something with this. Also depending on meta.
Sure. Is this situational?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're already starting off at C because it is a situational card. Now, we've already been over the fact that there's a lot of alphas. There's a lot of alphas in this set. Shadowlight himself is also an alpha affiliated card. Okay. So
he can't be obstructed by himself.
Correct. Yes. So that being said, I mean, I would already start at a C. I mean, again, it's a stat line we'd expect, right? Yeah. It's a 1 for 1. So that being said, that's kind of already in B tier, okay?
Yeah.
So I think that's where I'm seeing it, is somewhere in BC, okay? Where would you land on an overall rating? I don't think I'd go down to C, to be honest with you.
I think C just because of how low power he is.
Okay.
You know, he's not really making that much of a difference in terms of, oh, I just come out and hit you for 1. It's like, what are the odds that you're going to have your opponent down to 1 and they have nothing but alpha cards out on the field? It's like it's
that or 3. Like you could even bring him down to like 3 or something.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Or you're playing this in mean streak builds, put streak counters on him, and then you could swing in for more potentially. So
yeah, I mean, there's ways to work around him.
Right, but again, all these things that I'm talking about, I'm having to think up scenario situations where, and again, it's the meta, right? It's what is everyone else playing? Because if people are not playing alphas, doesn't really matter, right? It's okay. People like the meta is pretty heavy of alphas, and that's where Shadowlight would fit in something like that. Yeah. So, so all that being said, I'd probably I would settle on like a C plus. Yeah. I think. What do you think?
I still like a solid C, just because again he dies to everything. They can just turn around on their turn and attack him. Yeah. It's not like he can't be damaged by alphas.
Right.
I would just say a C. He's not very big.
Yeah.
You can make him something.
Sure.
But yeah, I would just put him there.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree. I think I can get there. Because like you said, it's a small body, dies to protect everything. The only other thing that I was thinking is I'm utilizing him on my turn.
Yeah.
And I'm utilizing him on my turn. He's going to come in, he's going to do his thing, and then he's just not going to stick around. Yeah. But like I'm hoping to get in with something that's going to kill my opponent.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, I think C tier is right where it's at. Okay. So that being said, let's talk about another card here. Clarity, ready for a fight. Clarity, ready for a fight. 1 cost, 1 required, 2/1 Clarity Earth Clash card, Rogue affiliation, common card. That's it. A vanilla 2/1 for 1. Jim, what do you think about this?
Beautiful card.
All right. Now we were kind of just talking. There are plenty of cards in this set that are 2/1s for 1.
Yep.
Okay. Now this card is not like the other cards, only from the standpoint of Clarity is not an alpha. She's a rogue, so she's not being buffed. She's not going to get buffed by Magnate. Okay. So.
Real quick before we continue more, I did forget that we have a lot of 2/1 cards and or 3/1 cards.
Yes,
maybe we should put the last card Shadowlight 2C plus, because when they do go ahead and attack him, he's just also going to kill those cards.
Yeah.
So unless they have Magnate.
Well, they can't. So. But remember, they can't block.
No. I mean on the crackback.
Oh, on the crackback.
On their turn, if they go ahead and attack him, then they also die. So
true.
Yeah.
True.
I like C plus.
C plus. All right, we're gonna go to C plus. All right, sounds good. We're gonna go to C plus. Back to Clarity here.
Yes.
Back to Clarity. So she's a 2/1 for 1. We've been correcting our ratings to pretty much A. So A is for these 2/1s for 1s.
Yep.
Are you still at an A? Are you still at an 100%. A for this?
I love these higher attack for 1 cost cards. Okay. I love it.
Okay. Yeah. And in all honesty, I'd probably go back to A minus just because she's not getting that buff from Magnate. But again, I have to evaluate her outside of that. Yeah. And so, I mean, and we kind of were evaluating all the other ones outside of it as well. It's just that extra buff from Magnate was just the cherry on top. Yeah. So we'll stay at an A. We'll stay at an A for Clarity, ready for a fight. Next one that we've got is Ling, Bane of the Discarded. So Ling is a 1 cost, 1 required, 1/1 Ling Earth Clash card in the Rogue affiliation, a common rarity card, and it says trigger enter. You may reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. If you do, you may add an accessory with initial resource cost of 4 or less from among them to your hand. Then put the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. Jim, what do you think of a card like Ling?
It's a 1/1 for 1 with potential upside.
Yes.
And you're looking at the top 3, but you're taking a card with cost 4 or less, which is a lot.
It's a lot, yeah, especially for accessories.
Yeah, and if you look at the weapons that Moxie has access to, or in black, so like if you're mixing the two, it can pull, I think, any of the weapons.
I think so.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So that's kind of really big in terms of being able to look through the top 3 and then take any of the weapons that show up.
And it's not just weapons either. It's traps.
Exactly.
There's still a lot of stuff you can hit.
Also traps. Like you have a lot of stuff that you can hit with this guy. And depending on how you build your deck, you're pretty much going to hit something with it.
Yeah.
So I love this card. He's really cool.
Yeah. The only downside to this is your opponent knows what you hit.
Yep.
That's the only downside. But at that point, so right. Like I just went 4 cards deep or 3 cards deep. I just went an additional 3 cards deep in my deck to find something that's going to help me potentially win.
Yep.
I really like this card. I think this card fits in a lot of different strategies. A lot of different decks looking to do a lot of different things. That being said, where are you going to land with a rating?
Ooh.
I think I know where I would land.
Yeah, I'm thinking high B, low A, but I can also see mid A. That's kind of where I'm putting him.
Okay, I was starting with B plus.
Yeah,
I was starting with B plus. I mean, I think I could get into an A minus.
Yeah,
I think I very much could because there's so many things that he can hit, and it's like if he's only cost 1. He only costs 1. If he hits a trap, you hit the trap, you put the trap down. Now your opponent's like, oh.
It doesn't even matter if they know what it is.
Exactly. It doesn't matter, right? Because they have to play around it.
Yep.
So, or they have to spend resources to remove it.
Yep.
There's because again, it doesn't cost you anything to put it on the field.
Nope.
It doesn't cost you anything to set the trap. It's just so good. I really, really like this card.
Yeah, I like it. I like an A minus.
I think an A minus. I can live with an A minus. So that's Ling, Bane of the discarded. First time I saw this card, I'm like, it looks really cool, and then I found out all the cards that are in the set. I'm like, man, this thing can do work. All right, the next card that we have is Warcry, Prideful Warrior. He's a 2 cost, 2 required resources for a 2/2 Warcry Earth Clash card in the Alpha affiliation. Uncommonly rare card. That's it. A vanilla 2/2 for 2, and they all need to be white resources. Jim, what do you think about Warcry?
I just think he's a very basic card, balanced for the 2 cost he is, and I give him a solid B.
Yeah, the only thing that I was looking at is it's 2 required. So that
B minus.
That's what I was thinking. Like that could bring it down to a B minus. Yeah. But regardless, I think it's straight in that B tier. Yeah. Would you stay at a B or would you go to a B minus? In all honesty?
Can see either or.
Yeah. That being said, I think we'll just stick with the B. We'll just stick straight B because I think that's a lot of those 2 drops, a lot of those 2 costs. They're pretty much right there in the middle. Okay. All right, the next card is another Haven. Haven just has some really bananas cards here. It's Haven Hiding in Plain Sight. Haven Hiding in Plain Sight, a 2 cost, 1 required, 1/2 Haven Earth Clash card, uncommon rarity card. She's a rogue affiliated card and says trigger enter, choose 1. Your contender gains 2 health or draw a card. Jim, what do you think about Haven Hiding in Plain Sight?
So it's 1 more cost for, you're pretty much going to always do the exact same thing as the 1 cost to draw a card. That 2 extra life, a lot of the times, isn't going to matter. And coming from other card games, just increasing your life overall just doesn't really matter. And also, if you haven't taken any damage early game, that doesn't... Again, it doesn't matter. The
Fine, just draw a card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess, you now have 8 low-cost cards to be drawing stuff. So, you're definitely going to play them for that.
Yes.
Overall, I think it's a lower rating than the 1 drop.
Yes.
But I still love this card. 2 costs, be able to draw, and still have that chump block.
Yes.
Beautiful card.
I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
I think it's an A.
Yeah.
I think we gave the other Haven an A+.
Yeah.
I believe we gave Haven Resourceful for A+. I think Haven Hiding in Plain Sight is still an A.
Yeah, still think it's an A card. 2 cost, draw a card. Like, it's still good.
I think it's definitely still in that A tier. Yes, you're getting the same stats, but now the only additional thing is you're paying 1 more for, okay, now I have the potential to gain 2 health.
You're paying 1 more, but you're essentially doubling the cost to potentially gain 2 life.
Yes.
So, like,
but I'm still drawing
wording,
a card.
Yeah, in that wording, it's so much worse.
Yes,
I paid
correct.
double the amount.
Yes, right. No, I got you for sure.
I could. Yeah, I could also see A- because it is that whole 1 extra cost.
Okay.
But that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
I agree. I could get there. Do you think that's enough to push us down to A-?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So we're gonna give it an A.
All right, we're sticking with straight A for Haven Hiding in Plain Sight. All right, next we have Warcry, Sign of Hope. Warcry, Sign of Hope is a 3 cost, 2 required resources, 2 required white. He is a 4/2 Warcry Earth Clash card in the Alpha affiliation. He is a rare card, and he has Breakthrough. Breakthrough essentially trample if you're coming from a game like Magic, but we're going to go ahead and read out that ability here. It says, this attacking Clash card deals excessive Clash damage to an opponent's contender if its attack value is higher than the total defense power of all opposing Clash cards in this Clash. So Warcry is... this is what is commonly referred to as a French vanilla card. Basic stats just has 1 keyword on it. So 4/2 with a Breakthrough. Jim, what do you think of a card like a Warcry, Sign of Hope?
I do like that he has that whole extra attack versus just like a 3/3 for 3 with the Breakthrough.
Yeah.
Because now that Breakthrough is going to matter. Because you have that 1 extra damage to then pile up through to your opponent's face. The defense is a little rough, but that's okay. We're going to be targeting some lower cost things and get some value from it. So overall, I think it's a cool card.
Yeah, cards that have Breakthrough are just going to be that much more powerful because in a game that has cards like Clash buffs and ways to instantly buff your creatures or your Clash cards, that just makes an effect like Breakthrough that much more powerful. So that being said, where would you land at a rating for Warcry?
I think I'm thinking about a B+ for him.
That's
nothing
where
higher,
I was landing.
Nothing lower. I think a solid B+.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that's correct. I don't think he's an A tier, but he's a solid card, a very, very solid card. Warcry, Sign of Hope, I think will definitely take you places. So that we're gonna give that a solid B+. All right, the next card that we have is LINN, the Nanite Warrior. So LINN, the Nanite Warrior, is a 3 cost, 2 required resources. She's a 2/3 LINN Earth Clash card on the Rogue affiliation. She's a rare card and has 2 keywords. One is Interception, and the other is Close Combat. This is the first time we've seen this keyword on a Clash card, and Close Combat means this card can attack ready Clash cards. So normally, when you're talking about combat, your Clash cards can only target other engaged Clash cards. This card can target anything. Jim, what do you think about LINN here?
Well, I absolutely love the close combat ability.
Yes.
It's beautiful. I do kind of wish it was on a bigger size card because the 2 attack is all right. So you kind of have to have other ways to be buffing this, whether it's through weapons or your the quick buffs. Is that
Clash
what they're
buffs.
called? Clash buffs. That's what they're called.
Yeah.
And but overall, I really love this effect. I think she's an okay card.
Yeah, I think she's a solid card because again, there's a lot of ways to be able to buff this card, and on turn 3, this is going to do some work. Okay, because again, when you're getting in with other cards that are 2/1s, 1/2s, this is attacking them and surviving potentially. So it's going to do work at pretty much any stage of the game except late game. You're going to want to find ways to buff her because there's going to be times where your opponent specifically does not have one or 2 cards engaged because I'm going to hold it up for a blocker or an obstructor. No, you're not. Sorry, here's Ling. So, and the other thing too is both of these keywords matter. Close combat, huge. Interception is also huge. So being able to utilize this both on offense and defense, I think makes Lynn a pretty solid and powerful card. That being said, where are you landing on for a rating?
Ooh, I think I'm really liking B or B plus for this card.
Okay.
That's kind of where I'm leaning.
I was honestly thinking A minus. I think I could go down to B plus. I just think those keywords, yes, the stats are low.
Yeah.
Yes, the stats are low, but those keywords, they matter. They very much matter. So that's why I was thinking I was bringing her up into A minus. So that's why I was bringing it up there. Do you think it could get to A minus based off of those keywords?
It's difficult because of just how small this body is.
Okay.
Like you have to put in a lot more work in order to get her to that A minus tier that I think. So then with that, you're utilizing other cards to be doing it, which is why I put her in. I could see B plus.
Yeah, and again, the other thing too that I'm also having to think about too is I'm able to attack with her the turn she comes down.
Yeah.
So it's potential removal on a body.
Yeah.
The turn she comes down, if she just takes out a potential blocker for something else, I think that's kind of huge. The other thing too is like if I have another card that I'm waiting to drop, because let's say my opponent has a blocker, okay, and I just need to hit with one with a 4/4, okay? Yeah. And let's say I have the resources to put down Lynn and then another card. They have one blocker, okay? And then I'm able to use Lynn to take out that blocker and then still have Lynn around. And then I don't know. I think maybe you're right. I think B plus is because I'm just trying to think of these scenarios which do exist.
Yeah, because with you going off of like they have that one blocker. Well, if you swing at anything, you're going to be able to kill that card,
assuming
because,
they block with it, right?
You know they have that potential of blocking it, and if they don't, well then you could potentially take out a better threat or even send it face.
Right.
So
right. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think B plus is correct for Lynn. I mean, if this is a 4/4. I think it's an easy A.
Dude, 100%,
I think that's an easy 100%. A. Now, granted, she'd have to be even if she's a 4 cost, even if this is a 4/4 for 4 with those abilities, I think that's easy A.
Yeah.
I think that's easy A.
100%.
But yeah, even for this with just that down, I think B plus is kind of right where it's at. I think you're right there. So the next one that we're going to talk about is a Clarity, the Clairvoyant One. So Clarity, the Clairvoyant One is a 4 cost, 2 required resources. She's a 2/3 Clarity Earth Clash card, uncommon rarity card, and has the Rogue affiliation. Okay. So she also has the ability Trigger Enter. Your contender gains 1 health. Then you may reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. If you do, you may add 1 Clash card with an initial resource cost of 2 or less from among them to your hand. Put the remaining cards into your Oblivion. So, what do you think of a card like Clarity the Clairvoyant One?
It's a card. Usually I want to like clarity cards.
Yes.
This doesn't wow me.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like it's a card.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes you have to print bad cards in order for the good cards to shine. So this is pretty much where I see that.
Yeah. So for 4, it's a 2/3 for 4 already. That's not good. That's bad already. That's bad. Yeah. I do not think the ability makes up for it. Yes, I'm trying. No. Okay. Yes, I'm able to find Haven Resourceful Helper or Haven Hiding in Plain Sight. I mean, there's all of these other cards that we've talked about. So for Even and White, they're good cards. I think that they've all been solid. They've all been pretty solid so far. That you're able to hit with clarity. Just being able to dig for one of those cards, I don't think that's worth it for the resources I'm putting into it.
No, not at all.
But you gain a health.
But you gain a health.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. Yeah. I don't think you're getting enough for what you're putting in for this.
Yeah.
So that being said, were you landing on a rating for it?
Well, I don't see her being situational or even a solid card.
All right, you say it.
All right, we're putting her in the dookie too.
I think that's correct. Yeah. I don't think you're getting enough value for the amount of resources you're putting into it. So, and I don't think there's a situation. I mean, okay, yeah, if I find a card I need in the moment, yeah, that's cool, but I just spent 4 resources for that.
Yeah.
And there's already ways of being able to dig for a lot less resources.
Like if you doing this on turn 4, you lost. Like,
yeah. So yeah, I think that's a D. That's definitely D for Clarity, the Clairvoyant One. So the next card that we have is LINN, Adaptable Fighter. LINN, Adaptable Fighter is a 5 cost, 2 required resources. For a 5/5 LINN Earth Clash card, the Rogue affiliation. She's an uncommon rare card, and she has Flight. So 5/5 for 5 with Flight.
yep.
Jim, what do you think about LINN here?
I like this card. It's well statted with flying.
Yes.
I think it's a really solid card.
I agree. Flight is just,
It's huge.
it's so powerful. So if your opponent has like 3 Clash cards on board, they're ready to come at you or ready to just block your attacks,
Yep.
and then you drop a flyer. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yep.
Fly right over you. Feels so good. Feels so
Yep.
good. And you're hitting for 5.
Yeah.
So
And there's something about like flyers in this game versus flyers in Magic, and
Yeah.
I think it's the fact that every card in here has haste. So it's like, just imagine if every single flyer in Magic had haste.
but
You're gonna love it.
and the other thing too is, there's more than one combat step. Like
Yeah.
you can have, all right, attack here, now attack there.
It's beautiful.
It's so like
It's
it's
so
so
good.
great. It
So
feels
good.
so cool, man.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So where are you landing at for a rating for LINN?
I want to put this card at around an A-.
I can see that.
I want to say A- just because that's really all she is.
Yeah.
And the cost is higher up there. So I like it.
A 5/5 for 5 is already a solid B.
Yeah.
Already a solid B, but Flight is worth a lot. It's very, very worth a lot. So I don't think this gets into A, like mid A. I think low A is correct.
Yeah.
I do think I can land at an A-
Very
for
powerful
LINN,
stuff.
Adaptable Fighter. And then the last Clash card that we have in white is Clarity, Foreseeing Fate.
Yay.
Clarity, Foreseeing Fate. A 6 cost, 3 required white resources. Clarity is a 4/5 Clarity Earth Clash card with the Rogue affiliation. She's an epic rarity card. It's got a couple things on her. She's exclusive, which means only 1 copy of this card can be in your control.
Legendary.
You are not able to play another Clarity, Foreseeing Fate. Anything that has exclusive, another card with that same name cannot enter the battlefield for whatever reason. Can't do it. And then it also has Trigger Enter. Choose one. You can choose Alpha Clash cards you control, get +2/+0 until end of turn, or you can choose Rogue cards you control, get +2/+0 until end of turn. And then she has, once per turn during your primary phase, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck. If you do, add one of them to your hand and put the other on the bottom of your deck. Jim, what do you think about Clarity, Foreseeing Fate?
This card's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
This card is one of the best things I'm looking for inside this game.
Yep.
You know, sure, you can give alpha cards or alpha clash cards the +2, but if you give your rogues, she also becomes 6/5.
Yep.
Swinging in for the 6 damage for 6 cost, and then before you swing with her, you're gonna look at the top few cards and pick one.
I think I saw somebody play this. Okay, no, I didn't. But I was thinking, if I saw somebody play this and they just swung in and didn't draw, what are you? No, you draw first. You draw first. You do the ability first. Just do it. Do it. Because there's not a card in the game that's going to stop that right now.
Yeah.
There's not a card in the game that's going to stop that. So just take the card because you want to make sure she survives that. Because if she doesn't survive that, you don't get to draw that card.
Yes.
So you're getting cards, and it's not just and it's not trigger enter draw. No, it's every turn she's on board.
Keep her alive.
Oh my goodness.
And then you match this with the contender. You just look at a bunch of cards all day.
Oh my word, dude. It's
All
so
day.
it is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Clarity is just is a busted card, and she's phenomenal. There's not a bad yes, I'm paying 6, only a 4 or 5. Whatever, it's fine. I don't care.
Yeah.
I really do not care about that. It's not that big a deal. I mean, even if she's a 4/4, I think I'd be like, it's all right. It's okay. I'll live with it.
All right, at like a 4/4, I start to not be as much of a fan. Okay?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because because if you're swinging in with her, the turn she also enters, it's like, I mean, she can die to a lot.
She could.
But if you just
But you're getting a lot of value.
Yeah,
You're
if
still
you
getting
just
a lot of value.
Never exhaust her and just get that value.
Yeah.
It's also 6 is a lot for just that value. But you can also have a blocker.
It's a lot of value, though.
Yeah, I know.
That's the
I
thing.
know
It's
it
a
can be.
lot
Yeah,
of value.
I know. I love the card.
I know. It's a lot of value. So that being said, the card as it stands, how are you rating it?
Oh, man.
You got to think about it.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing. So I like semi-talked myself down ratings.
Oh,
but
no.
I still want to give her S.
All right. I think it's easy S.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say S plus.
Yeah.
I would say S plus.
It was more of
if she was a 4/4.
No, it was more of, well, I might not attack with her first turn, and then it's just like, well, what if I never do anything else with her other than primary phase, look at top 2 cards?
Even if you don't do anything about that, you would hopefully you'd have other clash cards on board that you're buffing.
Yes.
That are then able to just take out of your opponent's other clash cards.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of utility here. There's a lot of utility.
Still an amazing card, and even with me maybe talking myself down from an S plus, apparently I'm like, all right, an S card.
Okay, so in all honesty, I would give her an S plus. Would you?
You'd give her S?
I would give.
I don't think I can.
You don't think you could?
I don't think I can. Just because 6 is a lot for really just utilizing it for that last ability to me. Sure,
but it's not just that.
I know it's not. But again, I talked myself into thinking it's just like, all right, well, in a bunch of situations, I don't want to attack with her to keep her alive.
You don't have to do that to still. That's the thing. You don't have to attack with her.
Yeah, I know.
And you're still getting literally all of the value.
Yeah.
The only thing you're missing out on is for attack because because she's buffing your entire board.
Yeah.
Right. So
I want to say S. I want to say S.
I don't know if I could come down. I don't know if I could come. So is are you getting the only thing you're getting hung up on is if you don't attack with her, you don't want to attack with her?
It's also the 6 cost. That's another deterrence for me.
Okay.
Is she cost a lot. And unless in like the best case scenario, no one's close to losing on turn 6.
Okay.
And then you're going to be able to get a lot of value off of her. I just think games end relatively fast.
They do.
So,
but not before turn 6.
Okay.
Yeah, not before turn 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at Kagan. So Kagan 6 cost. Kagan is 4 required.
Yeah.
So Kagan's 4 required, a 5/5 flyer with ETB kill a card.
Yeah.
Okay. So he gets 1 more stat. Yes, he's a flyer, but he's not buffing anything else. I think Clarity's a better card. I think Clarity's a better card. I think she's a better card.
Okay.
Now, still a great card. I mean, they're both still amazing cards.
Yeah.
Still amazing cards.
Well, yeah, I guess even if you just utilize your lower things or all your other clash cards to just be like, all right, I cleared the board, and now I have this really good value engine.
Exactly.
So,
right.
yeah. All right, yeah, I can also see S. S+.
We got him, boys! We got him! All right, that's Clarity for
For 6 cost. Oh, man.
Well, but again, in all defense, right? But I think you are still trying to, like, you're analyzing it with your magic brain. You're coming at it from the standpoint of, here's how I evaluate all these other games and how I think about cost. Would that be an accurate statement?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. And that's normal for literally everybody, like myself included, right? It's not until we get to playing the game more and then we come to an understanding of, okay, here's what I can expect for this cost.
Yep.
So that being said, fully get it, totally understand.
Not all games transfer into other games.
Correct, 100%. So that is a Clarity Foreseeing Fate. All right, next is the actions, and the first action we're going to talk about, it's the S tier clash buff. S tier clash buff. All the clash buffs are S tier.
Yeah.
And so the clash buff for white is Morale Boost. Morale Boost 0 cost clash buff action common rarity card. Says you may only play this if your contender is a white rogue. So not like some of the others that only say the color. This is specifically a white rogue. Target contender or clash card you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Then you may draw a card. So just like all the other ones with that actual ability, amazing card, no downside, drawing card. I mean, there's nothing to not like about these clash buffs. They're just insanely powerful cards. And we've mentioned it in every video. They're just great cards. they're phenomenal.
Best cards in the game.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. All right, next card is Earthly Barricade. Earthly Barricade, a 2-cost, 1 required, quick action. This is a rare card. And it says counterattack. Choose target clash card you control. Prevent the next 2 clash damage that would be dealt to it. Then your contender gains 2 health. Jim, what do you think about Earthly Barricade?
I don't even want to talk about this card, dude.
Really?
I don't even like it.
No.
Okay, it's okay. Like, it's most likely going to keep your card alive when you utilize it to do that.
Right.
And then just gain the 2 life. Sure. It's a card.
Yeah. So do you think it's worth 2?
Oh, I don't know if it's worth 2.
Well, so how would you feel if it was 1 costed?
1 cost? Yeah, I just think the effect itself is okay to potentially keep your card alive and then gain you 2 life.
I think the place where this card is gonna. I think the place where I like this card is late game. Your opponent is hoping to trade with one of your cards.
Yeah.
But then you drop this, keep it alive, and then you swing in for the win. Because there's a lot of times where, and we've talked about it before, like it's a top deck battle at the end of the game, right? And then your opponent top decks something. Okay, now I'm finally able to deal with your threat. But then if you drop this, no, you're not. Okay, now I win the game. Yeah. I think this is where this card would fit. Is I'm keeping my thing alive and then I swing in for the win.
Yeah.
Just catching your opponent off guard when they're hoping to trade. Yeah. I mean, or you utilize it on your turn. I still don't know if you can utilize this on your turn, but still, it's the same effect of you're keeping your thing alive and your opponent's thing is dead.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I just think it's an okay card.
Okay.
Other things I'd rather be doing.
Sure, like going face.
Like going face.
That being said, were you landing on a rating for this?
Because I understand like just how prevalent this is of I can keep my card alive.
Yeah.
I want to give it a B-, just because like that extra 2 life, again, I don't see the life really mattering. But keeping your card alive is still a good effect. So
I'm right there with you. I was thinking B- as well.
B-.
I think it's a solid card, but it's gonna see niche play in niche decks in certain decks. So we're gonna stick with the B- for Earthly Barricade. The next card is another quick action. It's Shadowlight's Light Beam. 3 costs, 2 required white resources. A common rarity card says counterattack. Prevent all clash damage that would be dealt during this clash. Then your contender gains 2 health. So we've seen a similar card before in blue. This is like Lefty's Last Stand, but I believe Lefty's Last Stand costs 2, I think. I'm going to see if I can actually find that real quick. I'm going to look at the blue. Lefty's Last Stand costs 2. Lefty's Last Stand costs 2 and is 1 required. This costs 3 and is 2 required. The only difference now is Shadowlight's Light Beam. Your contender gains some health, so gaining a little bit of health. I think we gave Lefty's Last Stand an A, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a phenomenal card. I think it's solid. But now I got to pay 1 extra resource. Jim, what do you think about this?
You gain 2 life though.
Yeah. So that basically means 2 life is worth 1 resource.
Sure.
Again, going off of the other card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that being said, I don't know. Where do you land? What do you think? Because I love Lefty's Last Stand. I absolutely love that card.
It is a good effect
yes.
of the just stop all the clash damage that would be dealt. And it's not to a specific clash card of yours. If this goes face, you stop that attack as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think left. I think the same. It was the same one with Lefty's Last Stand, I believe.
I was more so going off of the previous card we looked at, the Earthly Barricade.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
Because that is choose target clash card you control and prevent 2 damage.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that doesn't target. You can't do anything with your contender.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, that's a lot more. That's a lot more. A lot less versatile then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With this card, I do think that prevent all that clash damage is good. I'm aiming for a B+ right now.
Okay.
Because it is the whole 1 extra cost, and I put 0 value onto that 2 health. 0.
Yeah, the only way I see the health mattering is if you're building a deck and it has a lot of those effects.
Yeah.
And that's really able to pull you out in the late game.
Think about it. You're at 10 life and you play this card and you get yourself out of that threshold.
But that's the thing too, and that's the thing that you got to think about is because I mean there are so many times where if I'm the aggressor, I'm the beatdown player, I'm specifically not attacking because I do not want my opponent to get below 10 because I don't want them to go to his turn, get that additional effect. I want to be able to kill him the next turn.
Yeah.
So that's another interesting wrinkle in this game of do I want to get them below this certain health threshold? So you're landing at B+?
I like B+. I don't think it's lower than that. I don't put it on the same tier as the other card.
Correct. Neither do I, but I think B is. I would land at a B. I don't know if I'd go to B+.
Yeah.
Because that whole for this kind of effect, like one additional resource is a lot. Like when it's not your turn, you got to hold up a lot. That really inhibits what you're able to do on your turn.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. That's where I think 2 is like the sweet spot, and where I think Lefty's Last Stand is just such a better card. So we go with landing on the B.
B sounds good.
All right, so we're gonna land on that B tier for Shadowlight's Light Beam, and then the next card that we have is Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is a 3 cost, 2 required resources. It's a basic action with the uncommon rarity. It says look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Put 1 into your hand, then put the rest on the top of your deck in any order. What do you think about a card like Clairvoyance, Jim?
It's a great effect.
Great effects. Great effects.
I really wish that it wasn't 3 cost though.
Same. I agree.
Even a 3 cost look at top 3 cards, or sorry, a 2 cost look at the top 3 cards. I'd much prefer that than a 3 cost look at 5 cards.
But 5 is a lot that we're looking at though.
I know it is. I know. And if we could put to the top and or the bottom, however we'd like, then it'd be really it would be worth the 3.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Yeah.
But yeah, it's because then you also have to see those cards you don't want with if you're running the contender of clarity.
I'm not really able to filter them.
Exactly.
That's the downside to this card.
You can be like, oh, all right, I'm gonna draw it on the next turn, or I'm now forced to see it on the next turn rather than anything else. But yeah, I think the card's okay.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I really love it. I really like the effect. Really like that. Oh, look at top 5. Would love it so much better if any to the top, any to the bottom. Then it's really allowing me. But then I think it's a really, really good card.
Yeah.
So
that'd be great.
So that being said, where would you land at a rating for this?
I just think it's like a B or a B+ because pretty much fixing the top of your deck as you don't even get to you do put 1 into your hand.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna sound like you don't even get one of these cards.
Yeah, no,
I'm like, where's draw?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think B+ range for this card. I don't see too much higher than that.
Neither do I. Would you see B+? Because I was thinking straight B. You think this makes it into B+?
I think B+ because again
5?
you're picking the one card of the 5 that you really need right then and there, or to make your better judgments in the mid game, and even later in the game when you have a good amount of resources, you can drop this. Now I'm looking for which card is really going to benefit me. Right. So I'm looking so much more into that piloting skill of the card and the deck as a whole.
Yes.
And this card can really help you out.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think I could go with B plus. I think it's a really, really good card. Could be better, but I mean the ability to just dig five deep and then choose the best one for the given situation. I can go B plus. We're gonna go B plus for Clairvoyance, and then the last action we have is the legendary action. It is Clarify. Clarify is an 8 cost, 3 required resources. It has Unrivaled, which means it's the only one card with Unrivaled is allowed per deck. So you can only have one of these in your deck. And then it says take control of target Alpha Clash card an opponent controls and put it into your Clash zone ready. If you control both a Haven and a Clarity Clash card, you reduce the cost to play this card by 2 white resources. So you could pay 6 for this instead of 8. So, Jim, what do you think of Clarify?
I don't think I'd put it in the Alpha Aster tier. So we got that going for it. But that doesn't mean I like the card.
Yep.
Sure, being able to take control of your opponent's thing is really good, and you do have a large percentage of cards that you can target with this.
Yes.
But it's extremely situational.
Yes.
There's nothing
There's
more than
there's nothing getting no getting around that 100%. Yes.
Yeah, like it.
Yeah.
It's a card. Dan, what do you think about this guy?
Dude, so somebody played this against me in a league.
Yeah.
Okay. I played Kagan, took out one of their stuff. They played Clarify. They didn't know that it came in ready. I'm like, oh, you get the card, but now you can untap and swing with it if you want as well. Okay. Yeah. When I saw the card, I was happy. That's what they paid because that's all they did that turn. And I'm like, oh, that's it. All right, cool. I still win. I still won. I still won the game. I do not like this card. I don't like this card.
Even making it 6, I don't care about this card at all.
Yeah.
Like you have to be like, okay, you can make this cost 4. I'll still be like, okay, I'm gonna sideboard it.
I know.
I know. I just don't. And it's a one of.
It's a one of, and that's the thing. It's like, in all honesty,
They're killing me, man. They're
in all honesty, I would like. Okay, so I take over a Kagan, or I take a Machina.
Yeah.
Why am I not just playing those in my deck?
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, it's like, okay, maybe it's just an additional one in my deck, but I don't get the enter. I don't get any trigger enters. I mean, I think Machina is like the best target for this card, in all honesty.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because Machina is an alpha. Like, it's one of the best targets for this.
Yeah.
But then I got to hope it's extremely situational. Okay. All right. I don't think this gets out of D tier.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Honestly, when I said I don't know if I'd put this in the Alpha Aster tier, but it's like I could see it.
Yeah, I do not think it gets out of D.
Unrivaled is a cool mechanic in a card game, but you have to make those cards, it seems like, ridiculously powerful, and this is not ridiculously powerful.
Well, but the other thing too is, I mean, I've never been a big fan, and with mechanics like Unrivaled, like you just said, I have to be. Players feel like they play this, then I should win. Like it has to warp the game. But again, as a designer, it's like it's very difficult designing and printing those types of cards because then power creep, like there's so many issues that come into play. So that's where they try and hold back with a mechanic like Unrivaled. But then as a player, it's like you want to feel like the card is going to make a significant change in the game. Does this? It can, but I'm having a tough time even coming up with a scenario where it's going to do that. I just don't think you're getting enough. I'm not getting enough for playing this card.
The reason if this card was not Unrivaled, I could see this scene play because if Alpha Clash cards are just so prevalent in the meta and like high level or high cost ones, well then you're like, okay, I don't mind paying 8 for essentially a kill spell and now a really good card, or even 6 for it, right? If you have the other 2,
right?
So, but it's a one of in the deck so it's already extremely limiting,
right?
Extremely limiting on the Alpha Clash cards.
Yes.
I don't like it.
I know, neither
don't
do
like
I.
it.
I don't like it. Now I'm also a player who I've played plenty of decks in Magic that were blue, take all your stuff.
Yeah.
I've loved.
It's
I'm
great.
I'm a degenerate player when it comes to those types of decks.
Yeah.
It's fun. This is not that.
No.
It's trying to mimic it, but it's just there's too much downside. I don't think I'm getting enough for that. So yeah. that's clarify. But in all honesty though, I'm glad these cards that are supposed to be the pinnacle in set 1 aren't that.
Yeah.
I'm that makes me kind of happy, right?
I'm kind of the opposite way.
Well, and let me give you my reasoning.
Okay.
My reasoning is there's a lot more to go. And that, to me, that means the designers put in a lot of thought of wanting to just, okay, we want to tone these down enough to be able to go somewhere. It just tells me that they put a lot of thought. There's a lot of thought that went into this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just, oh, this would be cool, let's break the game. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, there's designers who do that, and it's like things get out of hand really, really quickly. This just shows a lot of care and thought went into the design of the game. That's why I like it. So,
Right. I get it.
but that's my stance. So, yeah, that is clarify. We're giving it a D. We're sticking with the D for clarify. All right, to round this out, we are going to talk about the accessories, and then we will end with the Clash Grounds. So the first one we're going to touch on is Spiritual Defense. Spiritual Defense is a 1 cost, 1 required accessory trap. It is a common card. It says counterplay. You may activate this trap if the Clash card being played has an initial resource cost of 2 or less. When that card enters play, it gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Jim, what do you think about a card like Spiritual Defense?
1 cost, reduce their stat line by 1. I think it's all right. Especially since we know a lot of 1 cost cards have that 2-1 attack and defense.
Yeah.
So this could potentially just kill one of those cards. I think it's perfectly fine.
Are you going to play this on? Are you going to activate this trap unless it kills a card? Because that's the question we have to answer.
That's the thing. Not really, or unless it just like
Unless it
saves
me.
you.
Yeah, right.
That's like the only other
Right,
time. It's
right.
kill something or save me.
Right.
And it is 2 costs or less, so it is a little limiting there.
Right.
But
Yeah, that's true. But if I'm not killing something that costs 2 or less, it feels bad.
yeah.
It feels very bad. So that being said, I think it's extremely situational because it only hits certain cards.
Yep.
I don't think this gets out of C.
No.
I don't even think it gets high C. I think it's straight C. What do you
Straight C.
think?
And I could honestly even see C- because it's just -1,
yeah,
-1.
yeah,
If it was like
yeah.
-2, -2, this is easily. Who would have thought doubling it would have made the card better.
But again, this is bad in decks against Magnate.
Yeah.
It's bad in that because you're not killing them.
Yeah.
I mean, you might stop them from attacking, so then
Yeah.
it's like a tempo play. It's a
Yeah.
tempo swing.
And it shows the Ox fighting Magnate, but it's like, what are you doing, Ox?
Yeah, so C-. We're gonna set on C- for this.
Yeah, C-.
Yeah, so we'll go at C- for Spiritual Defense. And then the next card we're going to touch on is this Who You Are. It is a 3 cost, 1 required resource. It is another accessory trap. It is an uncommon rare card. It says counterattack. Target attacking Clash card with an initial resource cost of 3 or more gets -4/-0 until end of turn. Then you may draw a card. So pay 3, it's a trap for drawing a card, but you are debuffing your opponent by 4 attack. What do you think of this card?
I think it's okay.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it's great because it does draw you. It replaces itself.
Yes.
3 or more it's limiting, but it's also like, all right, well, those lesser cards, they're not even really going to have that 4 attack for you to plus on it unless they get some buffs, right? And it's 3 or more. So if they're ever planning on trading something with a higher cost card, you can make it to where No, it's not trading. Normally, I don't like these kind of effects, but in this game, it does really seem like it can work pretty well.
So this is kind of similar to almost like Shadowlight's light beam, where it's a fog, right? We're preventing all that damage. But in this case, this is the same cost. It's 3, okay? And it's kind of a fog because we're removing 4 attack. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And so that's a lot. And I'm drawing a card. I think I like this better than that other one. And that one, I think we were at a B or a B minus.
Yeah.
So I definitely like this a lot better.
Yeah.
So where would you land for a rating for this? Do you think this gets into A? Or you think this is like high B?
I see B plus. I don't see anything higher than that.
Okay.
Unless the card did state like the other ones, it's a fog effect where you just stop the clash damage and then you draw a card. But 4 is still really good.
Right, but then I think this is more of a removal piece because if they're attacking into one of your things, now they're potentially dead. They're potentially dead because this doesn't do anything with their defense.
Do the other ones stop all the clash damage, or like also yours
like
dealing back?
Shadowlight's light beam, yes. I believe so.
So it would also stop the damage from your creature to theirs?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
The other one. Let me if I can let me actually try and find that card really quick. If I go here,
that wording matters.
Yeah, correct. Right.
Yeah.
Because that was Shadowlight's light beam. I can actually look at that here. Prevent all clash damage that would be dealt during this clash. Then your contender gains 2 health. That was Shadowlight's light beam. So yeah, that prevents everything.
Yeah, this one is definitely a lot better.
Yeah, because you're essentially preventing you're preventing 4 clash damage that would be dealt by the attacking one, not preventing the stuff that's happening from yours. So that's why I like this a lot better. And that's where I'm like, does this get into A? Because yes, we're drawing, and then it could be a removal piece. But again, that's situational for it being that removal piece.
It is also only 1 white specific.
Yes.
So I can see an A minus.
Okay. I think this does inch its way into that low A tier, just because of that low. There's just all those things coming together in this package. I think it does make it into that A minus for is this who you are. Then the next one is Ancient Protection. Ancient Protection. It's a basic action, common rarity card, 2 costs, 1 required. And it says send target accessory to oblivion. Pretty simple card, costs 2. I mean, what do you think?
I think it's a solid card. It's not anything, unless meta is so heavily based around accessories. I don't really see it being a main board card. I think it's 100% in the sideboard.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's an okay card. 2 costs to send target accessory, not just non-trap, not just weapon, not just whatever. To be able to target all of it, I like it.
So I think this is a pretty solid card, pretty basic. This I see just gives us a lot of information. To me, when I see this card, what it tells me is, all right, so sending an accessory to oblivion is 2. Like that's what we can evaluate every other card on. So this effect costs 2 resources. So anytime I see that effect stapled to another card, I know, okay, well, this effect already costs 2. So it gives me a lot of good information from an analyzing card standpoint. So I like that. That being said, I think, like you said, it's pretty basic. I think it's a solid B. What do you think?
Yeah, I like B.
Yeah. So I think that's a solid B for Ancient Protection. And then now we're going to move into the white weapons. And the first one is Clarity's 1911. I love the artwork on this. It is a 1 cost, 1 required resource. It is a weapon accessory, common rarity card. It has an attached cost of 1 white resource. And then it says attached clash card gets +1/+1. Jim, what do you think?
I love 1911s. So this card's great. I love Clarity. The character as a whole. It's a very basic card. Yep. But I think there was another one in black.
I think it was Moxie's sidearm, I believe.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It was a 1 drop, 1 cost, one attach cost, gave it +1/+1. Yep. I think we gave that a B if I remember correctly.
I think so.
Because I mean,
I was going to say, also, the sidearm was in her right hand where this Clarity's 1911 is in the left hand. So if you're playing Moxie's decks, you can equip both of them in dual wield.
There you go. I like it. But only in Moxie's deck. Only Moxie's deck. That's it. So that being said, where are you landing on a rarity?
I think B for this
rating
is good.
Yeah, I think B's. I think B is correct as well. All right, next is Clarity's Dagger. Clarity's Dagger, 3 costs, 1 required resource for a accessory weapon. Is a rare card. It has an attached cost of 1 white. It says attached clash card gets +3/+1. Trigger enter, your contender gains 1 health. But this card can only be attached to a Clarity Clash card.
Yep.
All right, what do you think about Clarity's Dagger, Jim?
I like for the attached cost, you get +3 attack.
Yep.
That's but you do have to have it attached only to Clarity Clash cards.
Yeah.
So it is pretty limiting there, but the stats it gives you are kind of beautiful. Sure that enter gain 1 health
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. But overall, yeah, I think this is a perfectly fine card.
Okay. Do you think this gets higher than a B?
No.
Yeah, I don't think it does either.
No. Nothing really amazing. It is limited on the Clarity stuff only.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so we're going to stay right at that B for Clarity's Dagger. All right, and then the last ones that we have are the Clash Grounds. And the first Clash Ground that we have is Detroit. Detroit is a 1-cost Clash Ground. It's a Detroit Earth Clash Ground is a common rarity card. It says Rogue Clash cards get +0/+1. And then it says trigger enter. Each player may reveal the top 3 cards of their deck. If they do, they may put a non-Clash card with an initial resource cost of 3 or less from among them into their hand. Then put the remaining cards on the bottom of their deck in any order. I don't know. What do you think about Detroit?
I like that it's 1 cost.
Yeah.
And I do like that it increases the defense of your cards. So it seems like you're already trying to want to be a little bit more defensive with a lot of these cards.
Right.
So increasing your toughness is nice. And then the added value on top of it.
Yeah.
I like this card.
Yeah. So the other thing that you want to think about too when looking at Clash Grounds too is it removes your opponents, right? If your opponent is getting a buff off of theirs, you play another Clash Ground because you're gonna want to be playing Clash Grounds in your deck. Even if you're not going to utilize them, you want to be having Clash Grounds in your deck because you will be benefiting from them one way or another. You 100% will. So so that being said, like I think it's an okay card. Again, obviously don't like that my opponent gets to do this effect too, but they may not benefit from that as well.
They may not benefit from it, and the cards have to go to the bottom of the deck.
Yes.
So you can kind of be like, oh, you did like that card?
Yeah.
That's a shame. Put it to the bottom.
Yeah. This effect doesn't hit it. It's on the bottom of your deck.
Yep.
So that being said, where are you landing at on a rating for this?
Ooh, I want to give it. I want to say a B+, but I also like it being in an A- tier.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
Because it's 1 cost.
Yes.
To pretty much gets you.
It's the magnet effect.
Yeah.
It's that magnet effect.
It's a magnet effect, and it's like you were saying, it gets rid of your opponent's Clash Ground.
Right.
For 1 cost.
Yeah.
And then to be able to replace itself. Sure, your opponent might be able to replace it, but it's also like, all right, well, if they say they have a few options, the rest of them have to go to the bottom of the deck. It really messes with them, and we're pretty much planning on going through the deck quite a bit already, so we're going to see our cards more than them.
Right.
So it's not a problem. And for 1 cost.
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
1. It's 1. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So you want to land at A-?
I like A-. I think I can go there.
Okay. All right. I think you kind of convinced me. I think I could see it in A-. You're getting a lot. You're getting a lot for that 1. So we're gonna land at an A- for Detroit. And then the last card that we have is Grant Park Chicago. Grant Park Chicago, 3 costs, 1 required resource. It's a Chicago Earth Clash Ground. It is a rare card. It says Alpha and Rogue Clash cards get +0/+2. And then it says trigger enter. You may search for one Clash card with an initial resource cost of 5 or less and reveal it. Shuffle your deck, then add that card to your hand. So 3 cost tutor, and then buffing all the Alpha and Rogue Clash cards by 2. What do you think about this one, Jim?
So I do want to correct on something from the previous card. You said you like Detroit. No, I don't like Detroit. Okay? All right, you see this shirt? Any sports fans in Chicago, you don't like Detroit.
Correct. Correct. That I am right there with you, 100%.
Well, apparently a specific friend of ours who plays Commander with us does.
What?
You don't see him with his Detroit Red Wings jersey? Come on, man. For hockey, you don't know about that?
No, I don't.
Really?
Oh,
Holy
man.
cow. All right, yeah.
We'll talk about this.
All right,
we'll talk about this.
Grant Park,
Grant
though,
Park, on the other hand.
Chicago, even better card than Detroit.
Yes. Okay. Tell me why.
Okay, all right. Let's take a look here.
Yeah.
So search your deck for a Clash card with initial cost 5 or less.
5. And it's not a particular affiliation either.
No.
It's any.
It's also not look at the top 2 cards.
No.
It's not look at the top 3 cards.
It's tutor.
It's not look at the top 5 cards. It is look at the top 50 cards of your deck. Look at your entire deck.
Yeah.
Pick a card. 5 or less. You have a lot of targets for this card.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I love it so much. And then to increase the defense of your Alpha and Rogue cards. Beautiful.
I don't even care that like I'm not playing it for that. That's just a side benefit.
It's 3
and that's
cost.
a good benefit too.
It's 3 cost. Go look for something.
Yes.
Go look for something.
And that hits a lot.
Yeah.
It hits a lot.
And it's one specific white.
Oh, dude,
One
like
specific
dude,
white.
You know where I see this really working is in mean streak builds.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good lot of good mean streak cards like mean streak intercepting.
That was the first thing that came to mind. It was intercepting.
There's so many so many good cards you can hit with this.
If this could get you that 6-drop clarity, what is it? The something fate?
Foreseeing fate.
Yeah, foreseeing fate. Oh man, dude, this.
I think that's why they said not 6. Man. I think that's why they said 5. But there's still a lot of really good ones.
Yeah, you still have a lot.
Because you could hit
Kagan
targets. With that too.
Oh, is Kagan 5?
Kagan is 6.
Well, this is 5 or less.
No, what I'm saying is, if it were 6,
I got you.
That's
okay.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why there's a reason that says 5 or less.
Yeah,
and not
be
6.
able to go search for kill your card, dude.
Yeah. All right. So all that being said, where would you land on a rating?
Dude, I gotta put this in S tier.
Really?
I have to.
Really?
This card is so good.
I can go A+, but you think S tier?
Being able to search for any Clash card 5 or less in your deck.
The only thing that's holding me back, okay, is the really good ones I can't find.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's holding me back.
But there are really good cards for 5 or less, like we just said.
I know. All right. I think I can go
and think about it, right? It's one specific, so you can play this in a bunch of different colors with a bunch of different colors.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, this card's just going to get so much better as time goes on.
Yeah,
we're going to get even better.
It is.
This honestly, I'm putting S+ because of.
But hang on, like you could even just find your havens to draw you a card.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, just be like, all right, well, let's see if I hit that 6-drop off the top. And by that, I mean stack your deck and draw.
But that's the thing. It's like, it gets me a blocker, and it draws. And even if you find it, Haven is now, instead of a 1/2, she's a 1/4.
Oh my goodness!
All right, it's an S.
Dude, four cost.
All right,
4 cost.
It's an S.
Turn 4. You're like Grant Park, Haven, 1-drop, draw a card. You now deck them twice. Have a 1/4 defender on your board.
Oh, dude, or find a Resourceful helper with to ramp you,
and then just ramp as well.
All right, it's S.
Dude, it's easy S tier, dude.
You're right. You're right. It's easy S. What am I talking about? Easy S. All right, it's a really good card, dude.
Are we going S+?
All right, I'll go there. Are we doing it? Are we going S+?
Dude, all right, so this is easily one of the the best combo enabler,
Yeah.
and it's 3 cost.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
It's so good.
It's good.
It has to be S+.
All right, I'll give it to you.
It's Chicago.
I'll give it to you. It's S+. There you go. That's the other thing. It's Chicago. It's S+. All right. Well, with that, we're gonna kick it to you. What do you guys think? Do you think Grand Park Chicago is an S+ tier card? If you agree, if you know we're right, let us know. Hit us at the comments. Let us know what you guys think. But yeah, this is the last color for the set. And yeah, if you guys have any opinions at all, hit us. Let us know. Let us know in the comments down below. We'd be very, very interested to know.
And if they're wrong opinions, still let us know. We'll just let you know.
All right. Now I got to ask you, what's your favorite one of the whites? Are you gonna stick with Grant Park? Do you think it's Grant Park?
My favorite card of
the white cards? Yes.
Oh man.
Yes. Is it Grant Park?
I feel like that could be a future video talking about our best,
favorite
that's right. cards.
Our favorite cards?
And in this game.
All right, we're gonna talk that. Catch our next video. That's gonna be a spoiler. It's gonna be our top 10 videos, our top 10 cards from the set. Don't forget, check that video out. And if you want to be notified when we release that video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you can be notified when we release more Alpha Clash content in the future. So with all that being said, thanks everybody for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you in the next Alpha Clash video. See you, everybody.
Take care.